presenting on public relations strategies, which is actually the Pathways Level 4 project for strategic relationships. And I have to say, as I'm going more and more into Pathways, I'm finding more and more useful material because I did not yet have a PR strategy for MyFoodData.com, which is my main business. So today I'm going to be presenting on that and my general thoughts around public relations. I would like to say, from my point of view, that PR has three core components: clear brand and mission, building trust, and giving users a story to tell. I really enjoy this quote: "Your brand is a gateway to your true work," by Dave Buck. The reason why I think this quote works so well is a lot of people start a business or an endeavor with the wrong end in mind. They're thinking about making money, getting famous, getting notoriety, and everything about the business is how can we make more money or how can we make money right away, where it's much better to have a mission and a brand that stands for something that's going to lead you to do good work. So you have to kind of convince yourself. You have to be the first person who believes in your brand before you can convince others. I also enjoy this quote: "If you don't give the market the story to talk about, they'll define your brand story for you." So once again, it's really important to have the brand of a company, business, or whatever endeavor defined before you go into it, because then everything else you do is going to flow down from that. So I'd like to talk about, for MyFoodData, the main mission is, empowering users with data and information. It is free. It is a small business. It's not about weight loss, keto, veganism. It's agnostic to whatever kind of diet a person wants to do, and everything is shareable. So it has this community component. When thinking about branding, I usually like to think about different, not better. People don't really want better things. They just want something different they can talk about. So I think the best example for this is, IBM's motto was think, and Apple was think different. Also, clarity is very important in your brand and how you present your company. You want to, especially today, there's so many brands, there's so much noise. So Yahoo obviously was trying to get everybody to click and stay on the site as long as possible, while Google just had a clear mission. After defining a brand, the second component to a good PR strategy is trust. As Zig Ziglar said, people will listen to you, but when they trust you, that's when they'll actually do business with you. And I can't emphasize this enough. Trust is a very difficult concept because, like quality, it's very difficult to measure and define, but people know it when they see it. From my point of view with MyFoodData, I try to get social proof traffic numbers. Over the years, there have been over 120 million visitors, and I let people know that, and people therefore trust the product more, just given the amount of social proof from that. Make the product as reliable as possible. Make sure the data is okay. Make sure this website always loads. If you go to a website and it doesn't load, you definitely lose trust in it. Keep transparency about where the data comes from, highlight any expertise I can, and reply to users quickly so they do know there's a real person on the other end of the line. The third, and probably the most important part of any PR strategy in today's world, is to give users a story. Let's think about it this way. Several of you are probably already familiar with this chessboard problem, where if you put one piece of wheat and then double it for each square, the number grows very quickly. In fact, you would have 4.2 billion grains of wheat by the time you got halfway through the board. And by the end of the board, it would amount to over 1,000 times the current global wheat production. Let's think about this in terms of a marketing question. Would you rather spend $5.6 million to reach 100 million viewers at the Super Bowl, or have a message that spreads from user to user? If you gave users a story to tell, and they spread it from one to another, and more people started telling the story about your website or how they use it, you could get 4.2 billion people by the time you got halfway through the board. This demonstrates the power of viral growth that is so important to today's marketplace. So within MyFoodData, I try to make every part of the product a shareable story. Users can create and share meal plans. There's top 10 lists that users like to share to help each other out and say, here's foods high in vitamin C. And food comparisons are also very popular. People like to compare apples to oranges. Vegans get into fights with paleos and try to decide if beans have enough protein versus steak and so on. So just to recap, with public relations, define a clear brand and mission, build trust, and very importantly, give users a story to tell. Thank you.